Okay, gotta avoid that. Fuck. Yeah, I had a feeling that was gonna happen. In either case, we'll revisit that anyway later. And the game over screen is a little bit different as well. It's mostly just in the form of a typo, nothing major. Okay, so here we are back in the marble gallery. What I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna go back down there, open up that other spot, but I'm not gonna go into the haunted prison this time. Like I said, I mean, Alucard's just a little bit too weak right now. But yeah, I mean, everything else in here is pretty tolerable, so we'll just deal with this. I'd kind of like to have this this other way to the entrance actually opened, because if I don't, it's gonna make it kind of annoying once I start using teleporters and everything to, you know, get around. Let's do this. You can also travel faster just by backdashing. In the Saturn version, that's actually mapped to the R trigger. And of course, the Saturn controller only has 2 triggers. It has 6 face buttons, though. So you've got the L trigger for the third hand that we looked at before. You've got the R trigger for backdashing. The top 3 buttons, like the X, Y, and Z buttons, those are basically mapped to the morphs that you can later get in the game, whether they be Bat, Mist, or Wolf. And A and C are your attack buttons, whereas B, which is in between the 2 of those, acts as your jump button. You can of course hit start to go into the menu, and that's actually all of the buttons on the Saturn controller. So what you have to do to bring up the map is actually pause, and then you'll hit L once you're inside your main menu. It does take a bit of getting used to, and I mean, frankly, I don't understand why the third hand was that much more important. But it's a nice function to have, and really checking the map just by using like 1 extra button press, it's no big deal. My God, these things are just like overwhelming me here. Let's just go. That effect whenever Alucard's magic refills, basically that glow that goes around him, that does look a little bit different in this version. It doesn't look quite as good, although I don't really think it looks bad. It just doesn't have the transparency and whatnot on it. Really, it's just a straight outline, more or less. It's not like a glow effect. Holy water will come in handy now, so we'll keep that. I'll open up this again. I'll probably actually save this time just in case, and then we'll kind of continue on through the marble gallery. Yeah, I didn't think I could make that. Now, for the record, I don't know any Japanese. Really, anything that I'm doing in the game as far as making menu selections, it's either based on memorization, or in this case, more so just like familiarity. Like in the case of a lot of the weapons, I just know what the icons look like. So that's how I'll usually find, what I need in there. You'll usually notice me maybe struggling a little bit with getting, like for instance, once I start picking up more familiars, I do have a bit of difficulty figuring out who's who in the menu because all the icons are identical. But really, that's a minor gripe. There we go. By the way, with the I think with pretty much any fist weapon, you can actually just hold like down and whatever direction you're moving while you're in the air, and then hit the attack button, and you'll actually do more of a jump kick, which it actually has a lot more priority than a lot of other moves, and also it does give, depending on the enemy, it can actually cause a little bit of knockback. That'll actually really come in handy with a boss that's coming up pretty soon. So I'll kind of show that off whenever we get there. We'll just let him attack once. Kind of screwed that up there. Yeah, one interesting thing about this game, although it really wasn't the first one to do this in the series, but it kind of continued this theme that Rondo kind of had, where there were enemies that would generally look like they would be bosses, but they're actually regular enemies. By the same token, there are also enemies that, really don't look all that dangerous, but, you leave them alive too long and you'll definitely be thinking differently. Okay, so let's make our way back up here. By the way, the spells in this game are actually done through motion similar to what you might do in a fighting game. They do take a bit of practice, and if you're having any difficulty doing them, by the way, if you ever look them up in walkthroughs, one tip I would recommend is if you're having trouble doing those, try to do them kind of intentionally slowly. For instance, if you're doing a half circle forward, it's more of an overhead circle as opposed to one going from back to down to forward. Basically, if you're doing a motion like that, you would want to do it intentionally slowly, and it'll usually work a lot better. That's especially true of Soul Steel, which has a slightly more complex motion, and if you're kind of in the heat of battle and everything like that, it can be difficult to pull off, so you just kind of have to keep your cool with it and just kind of take it slow as far as the motions, and generally you'll be fine. Now Fleaman, that's where the jump kick kind of comes in handy. And that's pretty fucking sad, because I apparently can't kill it with one hit yet, so hopefully soon that'll change. And here's our first meeting with Maria. And Maria seems to be much better at you in terms of progressing in the castle, because you'll meet her several times actually, and I mean, once you actually play as her, like in her own game and everything like that, you'll definitely understand why she can get around a lot easier than Alucard can. Because aside from maybe, one boss that I can think of at the moment, I really don't think anyone else is really her equal, so... Okay, so we're full on hearts. Just continuing through here then. God, you... Okay, there we go. And that's the rebound stone. Actually, it goes by different names, but I don't really like it a whole lot. I mean, it can have its uses, but I frankly don't like it.